Okay, so you're planning a wedding.
Congrats.
Yeah, congrats. And that means you're probably facing like a million decisions right now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. A mountain of them.
So in this deep dive, we're going to try to help you streamline one of the biggest choices.
Picking the dress.
Yes. Specifically, we're looking at how to make sure your dream dress, the one you've always imagined, actually like works with your venue.
Because you don't want them to clash. They should, like, enhance each other.
Right. It's
Yeah.
about creating this like cohesive look and feel for the whole day.
Exactly. You want the dress and the venue to kind of tell a story together.
I love that. And the sources we're looking at today, they highlight some really cool venues in the Philly area.
Yeah, and they actually give some pretty specific tips on dress styles that would work well in each space.
Which is awesome. So let's start with, I'm really drawn to those like rustic barn venues.
Oh, yeah, like the farm bakery and events. They've
Yeah.
got that kind of like warm, inviting vibe.
Totally. I'm picturing exposed beams, weathered wood, the whole thing.
Exactly. And for a venue like that, you often see dresses with like flowing fabrics, maybe some lace.
Okay, so kind of like romantic and flowy,
Yeah. Silhouettes like A-line or Empire waist would fit in really nicely.
fabric-wise.
Some chiffon, tulle, things that have a lot of movement. Perfect for an outdoor ceremony, maybe a reception in the barn.
Gotcha. So it's not about literally dressing like a farmer.
Yeah,
It's more about capturing that essence of rustic romance.
exactly.
Okay, but would a more fitted dress also work in a rustic setting?
Hmm. That's a good question.
Because I could see, like, I don't know, a fitted silhouette maybe contrasting in a cool way with the rustic backdrop.
You definitely could. It depends on the overall feel you're going for. A sleek satin gown, for example, could bring a little bit of modern sophistication to the rustic charm.
Okay, I like that. That play on contrasts.
Yeah, it can be really interesting.
So let's shift gears a little bit and think about beach weddings.
Oh, those are always fun.
Yeah. The sources mention some gorgeous venues along the Jersey Shore.
Beautiful spots. But they also stress how important it is to choose fabrics that can handle the sand and the sea breeze.
Like, it has to be practical, right?
Totally. You don't want to be weighed down by a heavy fabric.
So what would you recommend?
Chiffon or organza would be good choices. They're lightweight, breathable, and they flow beautifully in the wind.
Makes sense. And silhouette-wise?
Maybe a sheath or A-line,
Yeah.
possibly with a shorter train so you're not tripping over it in the sand.
Oh, yeah, that's important. You don't want any stumbles on your big day.
Definitely not. Okay, so how about we jump to a completely different vibe?
Okay, where are we going?
Let's talk about those grand ballroom venues.
Ooh, I love a ballroom.
They have a totally different feel.
Yeah, much more formal. Like you were saying earlier, the dress needs to match that formality.
Right. A venue like the Elkins Estate, with its ornate details and high ceilings, it calls for a certain level of grandeur.
Totally. So what kind of dresses would you picture in that setting?
Maybe a ball gown or a mermaid silhouette, something that adds drama and elegance,
Mm-hmm.
perfect for making a grand entrance.
I'm picturing a bride gliding down a sweeping staircase in a stunning ball gown, like movie moment.
Right.
But even within those formal silhouettes, like, is there still room for personal style?
Absolutely. There's always room for personal
Well,
style.
I'm glad to hear that.
There-
So how would you bring in those personal touches?
You can play with details like embellishments, necklines, even the fabric itself. A ball gown in a sleek satin would feel very classic, whereas one with intricate beading or lace would be more vintage glamour.
So it's like finding that balance between the venue's formality and your own unique style.
Exactly. And it's not just about matching, it's about creating a mood, a feeling.
Yes, it's about telling a story with your choices. Okay, so we've covered rustic, beachy, and formal. What other vibes are we exploring today?
How about we step into a world of lush greenery next?
Ooh, garden venues. I'm in.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, garden venues. Those are so dreamy. Like, I'm picturing this whole enchanted forest vibe.
Yeah, our sources talk about terrain events as a good example. They have some really whimsical outdoor spaces.
Okay, so if you're getting married in a garden setting, what kind of dresses would you be looking for?
Well, this is your chance to embrace those like romantic, ethereal elements.
I like that.
So think flowy skirts, delicate lace, maybe even some floral appliques to tie in with the surroundings.
Oh, I love that idea. Like little flowers on the dress, matching the flowers in the garden.
Exactly. But you don't have to go super literal with it. You could also go for a more modern look in a garden setting.
Really? Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Imagine a sleek, minimalist gown against all that lush greenery. The contrast would be stunning.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like a simple slip dress in silk or satin.
Exactly. Effortless chic. You let the natural beauty of the garden be the star of the show.
So even within a specific venue type, you can still play with different styles.
Absolutely. It's all about finding what resonates with you.
Right. Okay, so the sources also mention some pretty unique venues, like the W Hotel, with its modern architecture and those city views.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
So how would you approach dress selection for a more contemporary space like that?
Well, modern venues often have a lot of clean lines, geometric shapes, kind of a minimalist aesthetic overall.
Right, so the dress should probably have a similar vibe.
Exactly. Think sheath, column. You could even do a jumpsuit for a really modern look.
Whoa, a jumpsuit. Now that's making a statement.
Right.
Okay, so we've got the silhouette. What about fabrics? What would you recommend for a modern venue?
Crepe, satin, maybe even a structured macado would work well. They all have that sleek, sophisticated look that fits the venue's aesthetic.
Okay, I'm getting it. It's about finding those common threads, those elements that connect the dress to the space.
Exactly.
Now, I know we can't talk about wedding dresses without talking about budget
Yeah, that's a big one.
because these dresses can get pricey. So, how do they navigate finding their dream dress while still, keeping their bank account happy
Okay, first piece of advice. Be upfront with your stylist about your budget.
right from the start?
Right. They can help you narrow down the options and find something amazing within your price range.
Because it can be so overwhelming to walk into a bridal salon and be surrounded by all these gorgeous dresses
Oh, yeah.
and not have any idea what you can actually afford.
Totally. And don't be afraid to think outside the box a little. Check out sample sales or trunk shows.
Oh, yeah, those can be great for finding deals.
Yeah. You can often snag designer gowns at a fraction of the price. Also, think about prioritizing. What's most important to you?
Like, what are you willing to splurge on?
Right. Maybe you're okay with a simpler dress so you can splurge on a show-stopping veil or headpiece.
Ooh, I love a statement accessory.
Me too.
Okay, so before we wrap up this section, I want to touch on something that our sources only briefly mention.
Okay, what's that?
The emotional side of choosing a dress.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
Because it's not just about the aesthetics, right? It's
Yeah.
about finding a dress that makes you feel, I don't know, confident, beautiful, ready to get married.
It's about finding a dress that reflects you.
Yes.
And sometimes you might try on a dress that looks perfect on paper, but it doesn't give you that magical feeling.
And then you try on something completely unexpected and you're like, this is it.
Exactly. You just know.
It's like love at first sight, but with a dress.
Right.
So trust your instincts.
Yes. Don't let anyone else tell you what you should or shouldn't wear.
So well said. Okay, I think we should move on to the next step in this whole process.
The actual dress shopping experience.
Yes. Our sources have some great advice on how to prepare for your bridal appointments and make the most of that whole, often overwhelming experience.
Let's dive in.
All right, so we've talked about matching your dress to your venue, finding your style, and even staying within budget.
We've covered a lot.
But now it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty, like the actual dress shopping experience.
The fun part.
Our sources have this whole section, they call it the Darianna Bride Guide, and it's full of practical tips for making the most of those bridal appointments.
Those appointments can be a little overwhelming for sure.
Oh, yeah, totally. So what are some of the things our listeners should keep in mind when they start trying on gowns?
Okay, first and foremost, be prepared. Think about what you want.
Like what styles you're drawn to.
Exactly. What silhouettes flatter your body type? What kind of vibe are you going for?
Yeah, because you don't want to just walk into a salon and be totally lost.
Right. And bringing inspiration photos to your appointments is super helpful.
Oh, yeah, good idea. Like creating a mood board for your dress.
Yeah, exactly. It gives your stylist a starting point. And it can help you stay focused when you're faced with all those options.
Because there are a lot of options.
Oh, so many beautiful dresses.
Speaking of stylists, our sources also talk about the importance of finding a stylist who's a good fit for you.
It's like any relationship. You want to feel comfortable and confident with the person you're working with.
So how do you find that perfect stylist match?
Ask for recommendations. Talk to friends, family. Check out online reviews.
Get a feel for their personality and their expertise.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like dating. You're looking for that connection.
Okay, and then once you found the dress, our sources are big on alterations. Why are alterations so crucial?
Because they make sure the dress fits you perfectly. They can transform the whole look of a gown.
It's like tailoring the dress to your unique shape.
Exactly. And even small adjustments can make a huge difference, like adjusting the hemline, taking in the waist a little bit.
So don't skip the alterations.
Definitely not.
Our sources also have a lot of advice on attire for the entire wedding party.
Right. It's not just about the bride.
So bridesmaids, groomsmen, even the mothers of the bride and groom. Why is it important to think about the overall aesthetic of the wedding party?
Because you want everyone to look cohesive.
Like it should all flow together.
Exactly. And the little details matter. The bridesmaid's jewelry, the groomsmen's ties, those things can really pull the whole look together.
It's like a puzzle, all the pieces fitting perfectly.
I like that analogy.
And, thinking back to what we talked about earlier about that emotional aspect of dress shopping,
Yeah.
I think it all kind of comes full circle here.
In what way?
Because finding the perfect dress, it's about more than just the looks. It's about finding a dress that makes you feel confident, beautiful, ready to start this new chapter.
It's about finding a dress that reflects you and your love story.
Exactly.
And that feeling, that's what makes the whole experience so special.
Absolutely. So for our listeners who are about to embark on this dress shopping adventure, what's the one piece of advice you would give them?
I'd say have fun with it. Don't take it too seriously. Try on different styles. Play with accessories. And don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone.
And most importantly,
Trust your instincts. Choose a dress that makes you feel like the best version of yourself.
beautifully said. And to all our listeners out there planning their weddings, we wish you all the best in finding your dream dress. And remember, the most important thing is the love you share. Let that love guide your choices.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.